Hello again. It's part dos of today's exciting adventures of game development. So, yeah, let's see what we've got. All right. I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we did this morning, or what I did this morning. Okay, so um, right now, all we did was kind of go through a little bit more into the rules, trying to we we got to the next phase of we started defining the game setup, which is kind of what the parts and some of the components that the game's going to require. So if we're going to design pieces and bits for the game, we have to know what those pieces and bits are so we can start putting those together. So I made a list of that items. Um, other items we kind of did once down. We were kind of cleaning up the encounter setup. We were cleaning up some other values that we had down here because this is stuff that we had highlighted. This is one of the very first things that we put into our rules. But since then, the rules have taken shape, started spreading things out, organizing slightly more and more and more. Um, and we are just kind of combining and narrowing down those items so that when we get into there, we don't have conflicting or inaccurate information in one place as opposed to another for the same stuff. So we're going to be trying to clean all this up, and then I'm going to start doing some quick mock-ups of the stuff we want to put in, what it's going to look like on the table, and I'll just kind of draw up multiple quick mock-ups, multiple bad drawings in order to reference, in order to get our other stuff drawn up so we can start creating cards and putting stuff on the table and making it look like something that we might actually want to play. So, here you go. So, Pokemon damage. Discard cards from your hand. We already decided that, but I don't know that it was written down. Discarded cards can be regained until healed. So, let's go. Let's see. Skill cards used from deck go on bottom of draw deck for that Pokemon. Skills, cards, and skills / energy used from deck go on bottom of draw deck for that Pokemon. Items in the deck discard. Go to Pokemon discard. So it is possible. I was thinking that when when a Pokemon gets significantly injured and you want to switch them out with the Pokédex, now the times you cannot switch out to the Pokédex is obviously not in the middle of a battle. So we'll have to have that marked off. So let's see. Let's go to when found. So what we need to do is take this information. I'm going to take this and see if we have battles identified so I can make sure that we have that covered. Battle. The level determines how many cards each Pokemon has in its battle deck. Starting strength, that's the Pokemon card. It does not identify the how to fight though. So let's see battle. Let's see what else we got for battles. Anything else? Wait, we got battle here. Pokemon battles. Aha, status conditions. Things you can do in the battle. Take turns activating skills. Trainer items. Deck determines what Pokemon can use in the battle. So no, we're not going to have that. So because we have, you can only use Pokemon that are in your that are assigned to Pokeballs. You are carrying. Cannot change Pokemon you are carrying during a battle. Pokemon damage, discard cards from hand or deck. Discard cards from hand or mouse, be nice. Battle deck. Pokemon draw deck. To represent damage, discards cannot be regained until Pokemon is healed. Skill / energy used from deck go on bottom of the draw deck for that Pokemon. Items in the deck go to Pokemon discard. Let's see, that's for battles. One thing we might want to have identified is, it's a good question that would probably come up, is you cannot see rules for the game. Pokemon, it doesn't matter the order right now on this, but just say Pokemon decks. Assign cards to each Pokemon designated to a Pokeball. Based on level. So let's see. Maybe is it level +1? Just an extra card to make sure that even if you're level 1, you get at least 2 cards in your deck. Because you should have energy in your cards. Okay, so assign cards to each Pokemon designated to a Pokeball based on level. And so it's be level +1. Let's say that. So, and your hand will be your strength. So let's see, Pokemon decks also, what other things we need to do? Oh, can only change out Pokemon at a Pokemon Center. So you won't be able, so you're going to have to decide, you know, which ones you're carrying as your main Pokemon. I'm really liking the way this game is coming out. I'm excited to try to play it. And if it's really cool, and I can't get Pokemon to publish it, I will, maybe I'll retheme it. But that'll be really hard to do because it's really Pokemon centric. So we'll have to see. We'll have to give it some generic name and make up monsters and yeah. So anyway, I'm just it seems cool right now. I mean, if we haven't even tried to play it, it might not be. The thing about game designs, they don't always take off and actually become playable. One of my favorite games I designed is a football game, and it really want to get it out because it's cool. I mean, it allows you to have players, and they have they're built on real life stats, so you can make players throughout the entire time of NFL history as long as you have their stats are known. You can assign them to these formulas that I have that designate their different sets on a card, and those all are designed to balance and compare against the defense or the whatever players are trying to tackle them and whatever. And it plays awesome. Problem is, it takes really long to play. So I've been trying. I go back to it all the time, constantly trying to work it out in my brain. How are we going to fix this time situation? What thing can I cut, do, simplify, to not lose the feel of the game that we have set up, but still speed it up, because sadly it is just too long. I think right now it would take at least 3 or 4 hours. Yes, that's as long as a real game. No, I don't think most people would want to play that long. It would have a hard time getting any real ground, I think, to play. So sadly, we'll have to come up with something. Anyway, that's just what I'm saying. So not all games, no matter how cool, or I mean, I might be coming up with all the greatest rules in the world, but then when you sit down and play, it becomes really hard to play because it takes too long or too complicated or whatever. So that's where you have to start going to the development phase of your game, and you have to start cutting your babies. Letting all those cool little rules that you thought were neat and deciding which ones are least important and trying to simplify. I'm hoping we won't get there, but that's always an ugly state. You have to do a development anyway. Development can be as simple as just changing up the design of your components, to your layout of your decks, to rewording and slightly performing things differently. You might do the same things, but maybe it has to do it in a different way, different manner, different location of cards has to produce it. So there's a lot of things that can still change in development without actually changing many of the rules that you give it. So can only change out Pokemon at a Pokemon Center. Deck represents Pokemon current life, current HP. When cards are discarded, that is damage. And those cards cannot be recovered unless healed. Now, we could have some pretty cool abilities. Maybe we have, and there are some Pokemon out there that can heal. You know, they take off one token or whatever. That might give you one of your cards back. You know, we'll have different actions for how those abilities work. Some Pokemon can heal more, and they will give themselves multiple cards back. So I think we'll have some pretty cool features and functions of what those things do. We may have to designate, maybe have a glossary in our rules for the different abilities that Pokemon can get, and have it identify them and clarify them, rather than having every card write it down. Because if you're using TCG cards, if we have those abilities in our game, we need to say what they translate to, what they actually are in the game versus what they do in TCG, because it's going to be a little bit different. All right. So we wrote down the Pokemon deck stuff. Trainers. What's different about Pokemon? All right. Well, you cannot capture the Pokemon. Let's go mark some stuff down for trainers. Trainer battles. Let's do this. We'll go here and we'll say trainer battles, and then we go cannot capture. Well, let me just paste my stuff so I see what I got already. Cannot capture Pokemon. Level multiple Pokemon. Don't know what that means. It doesn't really fit into my variable rewards. Variable non. Cannot capture Pokemon. Variable rewards. More XP. There we go. Don't really need to make these red anymore, but we'll just leave them for now. So you get more XP. Obviously you get more XP because you're fighting 3 battles, but maybe you'll get like I don't know, more points to spread out through your Pokemon. Maybe we can actually identify that. What if we say more XP and it'll be like 2 points per Pokemon, 2 points XP, more XP. We'll just say like this. Stop it. And it does that. It has this Control Z has a weird effect on OneNote. It's doing some strange stuff. 2 points. Each Pokemon that participated. 2 points for final to, let's see, victory points for final Pokemon. We'll still do the one, huh? Because, all right, how about this? 1 victory point for each Pokemon that defeated at least one Pokemon. Or for each Pokemon that it defeated. There you go. So maybe we just give it a victory point as soon as it does its thing or whatever. But you get 2 points for each Pokemon that participated in battle. And you can have yeah, that's it. If you have EXP share, it'll work the same. How about EXP share gets 2 points to distribute. So if we only have 5 XP to level, this could potentially be an awful lot of XP, right? Trainers, I mean, 1 trainer battle could totally level someone up. To non-participating Pokemon. So XP share is not for those that already participated. So you can have 1 victory point for each Pokemon. And 2 for each Pokemon that participated. So the victorious Pokemon could get 2 to 3. If you're fighting say a gym boss, and for some reason 1 Pokemon manages to run him through, and he takes out 6 Pokemon all by himself, he's gonna level. So maybe we leave this. I like this, but maybe we have to have XP be, you have to get 10. Because if we're going to be consistent and have it always be 10, I don't think one guy will ever run through. But because I think we're making the Pokemon too weak if it's possible for one Pokemon to beat all 6 of a gym battle. That would be not good. So. That's my opinion anyway. I think that's all we need for now. We can always identify more later. What else we got? Pokemon can capture. No rewards, but the capture. Let's say draw 2 item cards. But only if victorious. Draw 2 item cards if victorious against trainer. There you go. And I think Pokemon battles will draw, in addition to possibly catching the Pokemon, you can draw 1 item card. So they're like weak trainers. You can get, instead of getting 2 item cards. So trainer battles are good, but you can't actually capture the Pokemon you're fighting. If you win, you can get extra item cards and more experience. Draw an item card. Draw 1 item card. Okay. You can only use Pokemon that are assigned to Pokeballs you're carrying. I think I already kind of identified that. Cannot change Pokemon you're carrying during battle. Yep, already identified. Where is Pokeball variations, medical. I know I wrote the rules for capturing a Pokemon, but take turns activating, draw one item. You can only change Pokemon damage skills. Where did I say capture at? I want to put it together. Strategy is when to attempt capture. Well, let's take this out because I think we've already kind of got that. Trainers, what's the difference in Pokemon? Okay, so we can take all these out. Cool. Hey, we're cleaning up. We've gotten stuff down to a state that's a little cleaner now. So, all right. Let's see here. We're gonna go trainer battles. Where is my rules for Pokemon battles? Pokemon cards, level Pokemon, utilize Pokemon, exploring, find Pokemon, random encounters. That just talks about when you encounter them. Mechanics, tiles, exploring, find Pokemon. Don't think we need this because the yeah, that's just stuff that's not random finds. Identify as item on encounter card. Identify as item on encounter card. Drawn from rewards item deck. Oh, you know what? I think our item deck needs to be able to provide money. Money. So we'll have to be able to travel to get money so you can buy Pokeballs for buying stuff. And I think so because you have to have item cards that have the potential to get money too. I don't know how much money we're gonna need because I don't know how many Pokeballs will be out there. Do we keep buying Pokeballs? Are they just something you can keep reusing? I don't know. We'll have to decide on that. It kind of makes sense, right? I mean, you have Pokeballs in your deck. But they are one-time usable in a battle, I think. Because look at it like you have these Pokeballs on you, and you're in the middle of the fight, and you say, "All right, let's go for it," and you throw it at him. Well, you're not going to run over there and pick it up in the middle of the battle. If it fails, you're just going to have to pick it up after the battle. So you're able to get your Pokeballs back, but they're not going to be they're one-time use until you can rebuild your deck or rebuild your pet deck or whatever. So this will kind of keep you from just using the same Pokeball over and over. You can buy more to increase your decks as your Pokemon get stronger. Their decks get bigger, so you may want more Pokeballs in there to give you a better chance to actually use them. So there is a reason to keep buying them as you get stronger, but I don't think there's a reason that we should have to totally get rid of them one time. So there will be things that you maybe have to throw out because we don't want people to run out of Pokeballs and not be able to go back. So maybe we could say used Pokeballs, although I think I had said before that they were one-time use, but I think what we'll do is if you use them, they get to go back into your Pokemon's play deck. Leaders have, let's see, Pokemon battles. We got status, take turns activating, draw one card. You can only use Pokemon that are assigned. Pokemon damage, skills, items in the deck go to Pokemon discard. Items in the deck go to discard. At end of battle, Pokeballs can be moved from discard to draw deck for future use. That makes sense. So after you've fought, you've got your thing, you've caught or not caught or whatever, you went and gathered those Pokeballs that didn't work. They failed or whatever. So we won't say that they broke, they just failed to hold, and you'll have to pick them up and try again, reset them and throw them at them again. So those are the only things, though. I don't think potions we'll just we'll call this an exception. We'll call this the Pokeball exception. At end of battle, move from discard to draw deck for future use. Yeah, potions. No, I think potions are definitely one-time use. You will have to buy potions or get potions from other locations in order to continue to keep healing with them, unless you've got like special cards that have potion-y abilities. But yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so I'm thinking we kind of went through all of our stuff. We found you can. Gym battles, take on a region gym, practice at region gyms, challenge other players. I think I'm taking this out. Don't need to do that anymore. I already have that identified, I think, as part of gyms. And practice is a thing I haven't defined what that is yet. Gym, type gyms, region gym, practice, fight other players, and a random Pokemon, weak trainers from same region, but various Pokemon. Yeah, maybe. I'll leave it in there for now. If in town, go to shops, talk to NPCs, shop, whatever. Okay, I think we're good. Time to start doing some mocking up. I am freezing. I'm going to put on my handy dandy flannel blanket shirt. I like this thing. It's got it at Costco. It's actually really thick and feels like a big cushy blanket. Except it stays on. I've done the blanket thing where I've constantly got a blanket over my shoulders, and I'll probably do that again. Even when I'm streaming at some point, you'll see me with my blanket over my shoulders. And you'll even think it's extra weird when I'm doing it in the middle of the summer, because I get cold. And plus it's a basement, which in summer we got air conditioning on, and of course it's blasted down here because it's hot upstairs. And so yeah. Okay, so let's see if I can get my other screen up, and let's start figuring out what exactly our game board is going to look like. So I did actually have my pieces and parts out here earlier. Let's see if I still do. I'm going to turn this on. Let's see if it shows up. It's now on. And is it showing? Is it going to show? Hello? Hello. I have the screen. Oh, it's because it's delayed. There is a delay on my screen, and it's trying to consider. There it is. Okay, so it should now be visible to all those who are watching. All 0 of you. I can't tell. It doesn't say viewers. It has concurrent viewers, but there's always one. I think it's just me. So I'm thinking at the moment that the current state of affairs is that nobody's watching. That's all right. I'm doing this for my own enjoyment, and though I would like other people to be joining me, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's see what we got. How does this work? Let me maximize my screen here. And so you can probably see that I've given myself a grid of on my OneNote that I can draw on to kind of set things up. This grid probably isn't the best view though, so I'm going to try and set up, let's use a smaller grid. There you go. So what you see is not what you get. It looks like you can't really see all the blocks that I'm drawing or all the blocks that I have on there. So it'll be different. But let's kind of, I'm just going to start drawing random stuff and kind of show you what I visualize for this game to look like. So we're going to first start off with player area. Let's see if I can type with, if I can write on here. Is this is not the right pen. This is the piece I need. I actually want the Surface Pen. I don't know, I was just using a stylus. I don't know if that would even work. It might have, but it probably would have been really awkward. Okay, so we're gonna have, hey, it works. And we're gonna have player, let's do the player area first. So this is what I visualize for our player area. We're gonna have each person's gonna have their deck, their trainer deck. This is the we'll call this the trainer deck. But in front of their trainer deck will be their Pokemon. So when you start, you only have one Pokemon. The first one, we'll say the one to the left, is active. You know what? That's too much words. I don't want to have that many words. Let's just say active Pokemon. And then we'll say Pokemon 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, on each one of them, we will have some cool little Pokeball tokens. You know, so we'll just have this little. You'll have each Pokemon has. You know what? I don't think I gave myself enough room because I want. Let's go ahead and use my grid a little bit. So if a deck, let's say, if no point in putting a grid on my screen if it's not going to be used. So I'm going to enlargen my screen so it's easier to see. Hello. There you go. I do have my chat window open. If somebody wanders in and wants to jabber with me, please do. I like jabbering. Say hi. Hello. No, I don't think anybody's on, so I'm just talking to myself. Okay, so we got the player area. We're going to have active Pokemon. So when you start, that's what this guy is going to be. It's going to be your first Pokemon. Now that Pokemon's going to have his little deck here, or this will be the Pokemon card. This is going to represent what his skill is. What this is the TCG equivalent card that you would stick here. But on there, can I not go more to the right? Not going to let me go more to the right. Maybe if I draw more to the right, it'll let me. Yeah, good did. Alright, so if I draw more, it'll let me go more. So I'm creating a left margin on my screen by drawing more to the left, but it isn't going to let me draw that way if I can help it. But, so we'll do this. This is your draw deck. We'll say draw. And then each Pokemon has his own little discard. How do I type discard? Let's say discard. There we go. So, whenever you're battling, you will use the active Pokemon. The active Pokemon has his own draw and discard. Now, that's not to say that you aren't going to use your other Pokemon as well. So, you might have. So, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have one active Pokemon. And he's going to be out in the open just ready to fight. He's going to be your first, foremost, and your starter. He'll be the guy who comes out no matter what. But when you activate a new Pokemon, you'll simply take his Pokeball that he's got marked on him and you'll stick it on your active Pokemon. So what that means is that'll put this guy back in the Pokeball and the other guy becomes your active Pokemon. So the active Pokemon, let's type that out. So during a battle, or during, let's see, during travel. How do we want to do that during travel? All right. How about during non? Let's type that up. Got to write stuff down when you come up with it. That's game mechanics. I don't want that. Pokemon leveling. This is a rules thing, right? So we'll put it down here on the rules thing. Rules game. Pokemon Center. Turns, actions. Each player moves their token. Each player draws encounter cards. Players can change or set. How about this? Set active Pokemon. Do this by placing Pokeballs on all but one Pokeball tokens on all but one Pokemon. That Pokemon is the active Pokemon. That said, guess what we don't have in our components list? We have game components, but we do not have nope, do not have game components. Pokeball markers / meeples / tokens. Which markers and tokens, I guess, could be the same thing. So, you know, meeples / tokens. Let's do that. But it is part of the player setup. Each player will get a starting Pokemon. Start with a number of Pokeballs. Okay, so this is different. You will get Pokeballs for capturing, which is actually a card. Will actually be cards that you can utilize. Yeah, so you may have a one of those plus a starter, whatever, but start with a number of Pokeballs, but you also need 5 Pokeball tokens for new Pokemon you capture. Now the question is, how do we get things to go? I think we can always send Pokemon straight to the Pokédex. So if you capture a new Pokemon, they automatically go to your Pokédex unless you go get them, or unless you have empty Pokeballs. If your Pokeballs are already filled, you have to go back to the Pokédex or Pokemon Center to get your Pokemon. Get your new ones that you want to try out. Okay, so back to where we were. Let's draw some more. Active Pokemon. And then we'll go to the next Pokemon and we'll have Pokemon 2. And they're all going to look pretty much the same. So we'll say Pokemon... Oops, don't do that. Pokemon 2. And then this guy's going to have his draw. and then he will also have his Pokemon card. So this is actually the card, Pokemon Poke card. We'll put an accent on it to make it look like it's not poke. Poke card, poke card. I know you don't you love watching me draw, because you get to watch my head. So you get to see the top of my head. Hey, but at least you get to see up here. So my recommendation is not watch my head. So, watch what I'm doing up there, because, nothing to see on my head. I don't even have hair that's moving around to entertain you. It's just skin. And all you see is the reflection of the computer coming off of my head. Poke card. And then we also have discard. So this is basically what it's going to look like, and then it'll be repeated for Pokemon 3. ... Pokemon 4. ... and Pokemon 5. ... So that just basically means we're doing the exact same thing. I don't know. Is it ... Maybe I should be using the quotes. Quotes say the same thing, right? But this is essentially what it looks like. You'll have your trainer deck. Now, trainer deck is really not useful Um, yeah, I'm thinking. So I know it's like I go silent. That's my brain kicking in and interrupting my thought, my words. Um, no, no. So basically, the trainer deck can be, it's basically your overflow. It's those cards that aren't assigned to a Pokemon. Because remember, your decks or your draw decks for each Pokemon is dependent on their current level. While you may have your biggest Pokemon with you, but several small Pokemon, or you may have some variety of small Pokemon. Maybe you left your biggest Pokemon at the Pokemon Center. All that means is as you level up your Pokemon and you gain more Pokemon, your trainer deck is going to get big. You're going to have a lot of cards. Um, but that might give you room to, maybe there's some kind of, what do you call it? Flexibility? Yeah, for cards that are temporary. If you might take more potions or do stuff like that. I think it's a balancing issue. What we'll end up having to do is come up with a way that, although you're building your decks out of your Pokemon, um, if if you end up with more cards, or if you end up with a trainer deck that's maybe too big for the cards you have out. I mean, a trainer deck limit, I think, has to be. We have to have a trainer deck limit. I think, because you're really only going to ever have 6 Pokemon out. So why on earth would you have a trainer deck that can support all your Pokemon and all their experience? Because you're never going to have more than 6 Pokemon out. So, maybe there's a max limit. We got to come up with a max limit for the trainer deck. Let's say you managed to get 6 Pokemon, all level 30, and those Pokemon are. That's a lot of cards. So if they were all level 30, maybe they only gain new. Nope, because then it's representative of their health. So level 30 would have to give them 31 cards to their health. Maybe at certain points, they have to take. I don't know if I want to let people, I mean, if I don't even know if we'll get to level 30. See, I don't know how this is going to play out, but in my head right now, I'm thinking Pokemon could get pretty big. And if I figure, okay, say a Pokemon at level has 250 hit points, that would be level 25, or that'd be level 24, I guess, if we give them a +1. To allow for level 1 to have more than one card. But so if you have 250, that's not very many. Very few Pokemon get that big. That's only 25. But let's say they all get that. And that would be 25 cards per Pokemon. So you could have one. It's 150 cards. If all your Pokemon, if your trainer deck gets that big. Having a bunch of level 25s, I think we need to make it pretty difficult to level your Pokemon all up that big. I mean, maybe defeating maybe for a campaign you might get up that big, but a campaign would have multiple regions, therefore more cards available to you. But in the game where you're only fighting one region to end the game, I think it's possible that you yeah, I just thought about something kind of cool. What if we hide like legendaries, make it like a legacy game does, where you get stuff and you don't know what's in them. And until someone actually discovers these cards, they would not be shown. So like if you have to beat you have to beat the game once to get one of the cards open. You can only open these cards when you do stuff. Like you can open up one of the region cards. Nobody knows what they are. Nobody can look at them, but you're allowed to open one up each time you beat the game. So it'll make you want to play the game over and over again just to open another region card. Or maybe certain cards are only available if you play campaign, and the only way you can play campaign is to have multiple regions. That might be a thing. Have it hidden, but every time you buy a new region, you get a new region card, a new hidden rewards card, and that card is a good legendary Pokemon, or maybe some special thing that really is only going to help you in a campaign game, because you want it at the end of the game. What are you going to do with it? You beat them, and now that card's not available until you beat the game again. So you'll keep beating that game. You'll keep getting the same Pokemon. He's your championship prize, but he's playable in a campaign game, which you'd only have if you have multiple regions. So it's kind of like, I want to play with these cards. We got to go buy. It's a motivating factor to buy more regions and play a campaign, so that you can actually play with those cards. Because once you've won one, you can go on and try to do the campaign with that Pokemon. That might be kind of cool. It also would motivate your other players will also be wanting to get it. So maybe there's 4 available. They're all hidden, and each time you win, you can get one. They're only going to be usable in a campaign, but it also makes it that if you decide to play a campaign, all the players in the group can open one of those cards up for a campaign. So I think that's cool. Maybe we should write that down. Yeah, I think we should, but I'll do it in a second. All right, so this is what the player area is basically going to look like. You'll have this, plus your little Pokeballs, and we'll have our, so these guys are going to have a Pokeball on them. We'll put a circle on it. What does a Pokeball look like? A little circle with a line through it. There we go. And then all of these guys have a Pokeball. I know there's a way to make this thing do finer lines, but I think I know what the problem is. I'm magnified, so it's making everything really big. Okay, so the active Pokemon does not have a Pokeball, so yay, we're going. What else? What else would we like to accomplish here? That's the player area. So I don't think we really need. Okay. There we go. All right, so we've got our player area. Let's shrink that down. This is what it looks like. This is just we'll put a little note here. Unassigned, oops. Unassigned Pokemon cards. And the only time this would happen is you have a lot of small Pokemon that are smaller than cards you've earned. Theoretically, if you've maxed out, if you take all your biggest Pokemon and you put them out here in here, they're going to have decks that equal your entire trainer deck. That's the thought. So your trainer deck equals the sum of your 5 biggest Pokemon. And only when Pokemon, only time you actually, so if every time a Pokemon levels, you get a card, see, that's why the idea I had, that every time they level, you get a card. That would be the sum of all your levels would be in your trainer deck. And that was the original thought. And it's going to be true until you start Yeah. Hmm. I've just tried to solve for the issue of I don't want to make this crazy big. If all your guys can reach max level, we'll say max level's 25 right now, because that's what I'm thinking in my head. I don't know, 30's possible, but I don't think all Pokemon can reach it. Maybe some Pokemon have a max level. They can only reach certain points. That might make sense. Um, I mean, how big can a Pikachu get? I mean, I know the TCG, and before anybody kind of starts putting comments on my thing and says, hey, but you can reach level 100 or level 90, keep in mind that everything in Pokemon in the current rules is times 10. So, in reality, even though you reach level 100, all your skills and abilities are times 10. So, your skill is uh, does 10 damage, while it does 1 damage. It's just having to put a 0 on it. It's just always been one of Pokemon's thing. They do they do things based on a number of times 10. So your hit points are 250, but it's really only 25. They just make it times 10. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because math is easier with tens? I don't know. It's just because of math. Um, but yeah, so you might get to a level 100, but in this game, 25 would be like level 250. So it would be really, really high. And because everything's kind of, if we were to add them up that way, because you're getting HP that's equivalent to that guy who's level 100, and he's probably got 250 hit points, but he did get to level 100. So I think reaching 24 or 25 should be pretty difficult. And I want to make it so that you really can't do that. That'd be really hard to do that in a single session. I would like 10 to 15 to be the norm. So if we figure that out, and it's if we say, let's say you get to level 15, and if you get 6 Pokemon that are level 15, that would put 3, 4. Oh, I didn't even realize it is another. I should have another thing on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't count. There's no P1, so I should probably go over here and say, yeah, stop it, don't be a turd. All right, so we got P6 also. Dot, 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 in a circle. Okay, so yeah, there should be another one there. You have 6 Pokemon. So what we're gonna need. So anyway, so 15 times 6 is what is that? So 30, 60, 90. So you'll have 90 cards in your deck. That's a lot of cards, especially if you have 4 people playing. If a single region game supports 4 people, that's 182, 360 cards. There's not going to be a whole lot left for everybody else. And that's why I want to max out how many you can have. Because let's say we have 360 possible cards. I don't want people running out of cards. What if everybody wants to go lightning? We're going to have enough cards in there to support everybody's deck. Now, it would not behoove a person to do that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to make it difficult enough that you can't win with one type of deck. I mean, if it does, then we're broken. we don't want a broken game where you have to be lightning to win or one type to win. It needs to be where these gym bosses are going to be strong enough that if you don't have the right mix of Pokemon abilities, then you're probably not going to do very well. Or if you go, yeah, I want to make it so it's hard enough that you have to at least kind of put some thought into your stuff. You can't just go circle, 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 catching all the lightning Pokemon and then just go romping through everything. You should catch all the lightning Pokemon. You go out and start getting your lunch from half the Pokemon on the table. So it should be really hard. and that's we'll get there. We'll get there. So we haven't gotten to that yet, but right now let's just get things looking right. So my concern is, and see, this is just the mock-up called this out to me. So the mock-up can generate what the outline did. It's like it's bringing up new thoughts. So when you're looking at this and you're going, well, I have all these cards on the table. How many cards does that put in my trainer deck, which is your overflow? Yeah, I'm mulling that over. Any idea I can come up with would be useful. Let's see here. Problem with telling, every time a Pokemon levels, you can pick one of the cards from his EXP to add to your deck. But So if we were to put a limit on the cards you could have, you could you know what? I think we're going to have to do it that way. So let's go over to the Pokédex. Pokédex is where you have all the cool information about your stuff. On here, it'll be player name, Pokemon currently owned, level of those Pokemon. Level of 6th highest level, 6th highest level Pokemon. Okay, so all right, so let's see, what do we call this? So this is going to be the new card tracker point. So it's not that your Pokemon, when you level, you get to choose one of the cards from the XP to add to your deck, but if that Pokemon is not higher level, is not the new level of 6th highest level Pokemon. Let's see. Let's go to battles. When you are leveling, Pokemon leveling. When Pokemon reaches XP required for the level, pick one card from the XP cards to add to that Pokemon's play deck. Shuffle unchosen cards back into the XP item deck. Let's do this. If that Pokemon's level exceeds the level of your 6th highest level Pokemon. So if you only have 6, then you can, you'll always be able to keep your cards. But if you're working on small Pokemon that are trying to catch up, that means they're not one of your 6th highest level Pokemon. And you don't need the card, but we're going to let you take the card. If that Pokemon's level exceeds the level of your 6th highest level Pokemon, discard or return one card from your trainer deck to the supply. There you go. So you're picking a card from those, and you should it's a little tough. I'm still thinking this over in my head, because we do have cards that are one-time use. So those cards are going to go back to the supply. But that's going to change the size of your trainer deck, right? Because you won't be able to play them out. So, um, got to make sure that we don't make, there's never a point where you'd be shorted. So if you ever actually have to create, you decide, all right, I need to pull out all my big guns. You're going to go get your 6 biggest Pokemon. You don't want to have a shortage of trainer cards to give them. All your Pokemon should use up your entire trainer deck at that point. That said, we need to come up with the logic necessary to make sure that you don't keep growing your deck beyond its max size, but returning cards to the supply at any time Yeah, I really like the idea of potions not being able to be kept. I was thinking maybe instead of discarding them back to the supply, they would go to the trainer deck, which still takes them away from that Pokemon, and they're unusable until you build a new Pokemon deck. But it also doesn't bode well for your like you might get a bunch of potions and you just, what are you going to do? You know, what if yeah, I want certain cards to be one-time use, but how do I designate those cards? Or if they get used, they're gone. And there's not a lot of them, but certain things, you know, potions, when you heal yourself, should not be able to be all discards, special energy, all discards, not including the potion energy, get shuffled. See, I actually have potions in here, potion energy, that acts as a special, which would discard. There might not be many of those though, you know. I wouldn't make those a very common thing. You know what? I'm gonna say discard unused. Return to draw deck after battle. Limit 1 per Pokédeck. One Pokemon. I don't want to call that because it's too close to Pokédex. Pokemon draw deck. Oh, it is Pokemon deck. No one per Pokemon deck. Just so we don't, you know, if you have multiple, you're not just throwing heal potions in there. He's just constantly healing himself. But it is your energy too, so you know you lose those energy cards that you can keep recycling normally. Dang. One-time use cards is tough because it does kind of mess with the size of your cards and how many cards you might have. And I don't want to have too many cards in play, but I also don't want to have yeah, I'm getting stumped. Hour time in, and this could be one of those things that it's not going to stop me from completing, but what it's going to do is it's going to put an end to this particular session. So I want to give it a few more minutes. I'm still trying to decide how to deal with the one-time use cards. I do like the ability to drink, but it just seems weird to be able to drink a potion and still have the potion. Even later, it's still just, what are you gonna do? Fill it back up, or did you get this potion juice at? Potion making skill at? Nope. I think once they're used, they need to go back to the supply and become a new potion for someone else to use, or for you to draw later. But how do we track those without breaking your trainer deck, which has to be able to keep up with the size of your Pokemon? Should you only get 6 Pokemon and decide, okay, I'm good, and you're just going to build those guys all up? Each time you level, you're going to add that card to your draw deck, and you're just going to keep making your Pokemon bigger. And then you're going to go get a small Pokemon, bring him out, and give him his cards, but then when he levels, what? And what if you've used 2 potions? Suddenly your max setup doesn't have enough cards. We need to come up with a way maybe one-time use cards don't count towards your trainer deck. It still gives you extra cards, but maybe like the game, the trainer can use a heal potion anytime. Yeah, I know we're going to want to have other one-time use cards. All I'm thinking is potions right now, but there's going to be something that we say, nah, you can't keep doing that. It just seems like we're going to want some cards that go back. Maybe there's just not very many of them, and if you get them, you are short. It's just the way it goes. But you won't. How do you catch up? I mean, will you ever be able to fill your guys back up? They have to level to get another card. Well, I guess that would get you back up because, you know, if he's one of your low level guys, I think what it is we'll keep track of discarded cards on your Pokédex, and that leaves you room for Pokédex. Level of 6 highest level Pokemon. Number of items returned to discard. Return to supply. / item deck. Okay, so if we keep track of that, we can do whatever. And you're able to keep cards as long as you don't exceed that. So that number should be subtracted from. So when you level, let's go back to leveling and write that down. Level of Pokemon. XP gives 1 additional. THA Pokemon variations 1 point. That's different. That doesn't have all of my leveling stuff. I have 2 things of level Pokemon. This actually is not. This is a. This is Pokeball variations, only a few types. TMHM, experience share gives 1 additional 1 point for victory. So this is actually kind of out of place, I think. But let's stick to my thing. I wanted to go write down what I've decided for Pokemon battles, trainer battles, rules for the game, Pokemon decks, turn actions. Each player draws encounter cards. Each player moves their Pokemon Center card. Alright, level, where'd it go? See, I don't like looking for stuff. Let's just go level. Ling level. Pokemon card starting level. Starting strength. Focus. Catch. Pokemon leveling. When Pokemon reaches XP required for level, pick one card from XP cards to add to that deck. Shuffle unchosen cards back in XP. If that Pokemon's level exceeds the level of your 6th highest level Pokemon, return one card from your trainer deck to supply. Your choice. Exception. If you have a discarded, or if you have used a card that was returned to supply, marked on Pokédex, subtract 1 from that value, and you do not have, and no discard required. Yes, now this is one of those things that might be considered a fiddly fiddly task. It's one of those things that we want to call out. It's red, but it's also going to be one of those things that, oops, oh, what is that? What did I just do? I'm going to mark it as red, just because it's one of those items that's a little weird. It does call out how this is going to be handled. Your Pokédex. I think I did add that to the Pokédex. So we all be okay. So that's one of the things we're going to put in our area. I know I'm running over. It's already 1:12, but I'm going to try and draw up a quick mock-up of our Pokédex. I'm going to expand this up, and the Pokédex is going to be, we'll go like this, and we'll say kind of like that. We'll say player name. This is just so that if you're doing a campaign, you'll have it known which one you are, and that or which Pokédex belongs to you. Other key elements that you might want on here is let's go to the Pokédex. That's not gas. Pokédex, there it is. Okay, so we got player name, Pokemon currently owned. So this is the Pokemon list. Level of those Pokemon, level of 6 highest Pokemon. We'll say level of 6th. Let's try to make this easy. Sorry, showing you the top of my head again. It's really hard to draw and be facing the camera. I mean, I guess I could bring the camera down here, then you can see me talk to you down here, but that's, yeah, I don't know if that's better. I mean, ultimately, I'm hoping you're not really watching me anyway. You might be listening to me, but I'd rather you be watching my text and my drawing, and yeah, because I'm not that entertaining to look at. Sorry. Level 6th highest level. There we go. And then we got, what else is going to be on there? We got 6th highest level, number of items. Okay, so this is also going to be, we'll call it returned. Oh, I don't know. I do not know how to spell. I like to be succinct, but it's also hard. Cards. I don't want to say discard because discard goes to your Pokemon thing. Cards, trashed is such a terrible, consumed. How about consumed? And this is a number of cards consumed. 6th highest level. And then what else we got? Strength. Okay, so we got EXP share. Okay, and then we'll just have a little EXP. This is probably not the final layout of this, but again, mock-up, just getting things on the play. EXP share. And then we'll just put a little box in there for a checkbox. And then, let's see, current HP of those Pokemon, 1 line per Pokemon. Or to change out Pokemon, some rules for the Pokédex. I guess, let's see, Pokemon Play Deck, Pokeballs, Energy. Since those things are actually cards, I don't need to track them on the Pokédex. So that's really the only pieces of information you need to track other than the Pokemon itself. So we got Pokemon. And then that Pokemon's level and his HP. Current HP of those Pokemon, number of cards, XP share, strength of those Pokemon. Oh, do I need to keep track of their strength too? Oh, so yeah, I should probably. HP and strength. So we'll draw this down here and this down here, and then we'll draw a line that goes across here, and then we'll draw some vertical lines that go down here, and then we can have some cross lines like this. And each one just designates your Pokemon, however many you have. Let's draw this all the way across there. Woohoo! Oh man, it was really gotta do something about that headshot. I don't know how to fix that. Somebody can come on here and go, why are we looking at this guy's top of his head? If you're just cruising along, checking out the possible options for YouTube live streaming, and you come across mine, you're going to see paper on the thing, and you're going to see the top of my head. Sorry. We'll put this here. Okay, so that's basically what your Pokédex will look like. Now, if we shrink this down, that's not too terribly big, right? I mean, we'll have our cards, assuming that any of this is scale, which it's probably not. I mean, cards are 3 inches, and you got 3, 6, 9. So you're going to have a pretty good sized table just in having your Pokemon out. Now, if you don't play them all, some Pokemon may only have 2 stacks because they may not ever have to go through their deck. But they are available to you, and you might. Therefore, you may have discards that go along with them. Now, unfortunately, you can't put. There's nowhere to put your discards. Maybe there is. You know, we could make it so discards actually go face up underneath your deck. And then when it comes time to reshuffle your cards, you just get to shuffle the ones that are face down. You do not get a shuffle of face up. That might work. And that'll reduce the space that you're using your cards. Because underneath your Pokemon card goes the EXP cards that you're earning to level up. So we can't put anything underneath your Pokemon cards. So, yeah, I think that might actually work pretty good. So, what I might do, let's expand this up. Oh, what time is it? Oh, I've been an hour and 20 minutes. I am so running over my limit. Let's make this really big so I can write the word discard. It's kind of hard to write. It's going to be really hard to write fine with this big old magnification, but we'll see how I can do this. So we're going to go like this. Trying not to. Nope. Yeah, that works. And then I can get rid of this one. And then we'll say face up. Say discard. Discard. And then this is EXP. E. EXP. I don't know. Do you even have to do EXP? I think XP is actually the nomenclature for experience, isn't it? So we'll say XP earned. And then this is your discard. And this is going to say face up. Face down. And it's really hard to write fine, even though it does do it. It is a feature of this pen. When you magnify your page, it magnifies the line. So all right, so that'll actually reduce the number of spaces. So now if you have 6 Pokemon, you're only going to have 12 in front of you. So we'll go like this. This, then we can delete this one, yay! And then we'll go, well, that's the same thing. So this ought to reduce your footprint a little bit. There we go. That'll allow us to do something like selecting all of this. Oops, stop it. I'm still figuring out my pen here. Nope. You're being difficult. Stop it. Going around. Stop it. What are you doing? Oh, I wonder if I go like this, and then if I go like this, it'll just work. Nope. I'm not sure how. I know I used to be able to select stuff, but it's not doing it right now. How? Let's see here. Lasso. Maybe I have to push the button. Nope, that doesn't work. So this is one of those technical things. This is me not remembering. I could have swore like all I have to do is click on the select. It even has a little select thing here, and that's what I've selected. And I'm not sure why my my selection doesn't work. Hey, I did it. All that just to be able to drag this over here and put it closer to my other stuff. There we go. And then I have to select it all and shove it over one more. But ultimately, that's the idea behind that. So we got the Pokédex, which is probably scale-ish. This is what it's going to look like. You'll have your Pokemon, your Pokédex. You can't really, you just write stuff down on here as Pokemon level up. But it'll be representative of all your Pokemon. Oops. Oh man, stop it. We're doing it again. Why are you doing that now? They don't like me, stop it. This proves my artistic skills. I cannot draw a straight line, given small spaces. So, okay, so we got a player area kind of mocked up. This is kind of what your stuff will look like. You might have some, you might throw down, you might have some money tokens over here. And we'll say money. And what else might you have for money? I don't know. I think I actually have most things accounted for, and I have game components. Do I have money? I don't, hey, you can earn money, so why don't we have money on the board? Game components. Money, 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 money. Okay, I have to say that every time I say money. Money, money, money. I gotta kind of sing that. Just I don't know why. It's just one of those things. Money tokens. Let's see what else we have. We have gem markers. That stuff's gonna go in the middle of the table, and tomorrow we'll work more on that. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I will try again and see if anybody wants to join me then. Hopefully we'll get more people as it comes along. Maybe people want to start seeing these things come together. I didn't get a chance to do the publisher/Excel merge thing. I'll have to brush up on that before we do that, so that I can make sure I remember how to do that correctly. And then we will make some progress on actually designing some cards. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have to pick one and focus on that. This is where time starts to slow down. We've got our rules, got a lot of them. We'll keep changing them, keep adding to them, but we'll constantly have to keep making tweaks as we go. And just mocking up the cards is going to be that's going to raise a question for this and a question for that. And this is kind of what goes into designing a game, and we'll have to follow to see how we go. I'd really like to be able to get to a point where we have at least some kind of cards able to set out on the table, some token/representation of all of our pieces by the end of next week. That's probably really being optimistic, but why not? Let's see what miracles we have in store. So tomorrow again, 11 o'clock. See you then. Bye.